to understand that science is just a description of reality, isn't it? So there is some reality and you try to explain it. And how can you explain the reality in the most rational, most logical way? That is science. And of course in science there is a certain paradigm that we need to follow. And the paradigm has been enunciated by Galileo since the 17th century, and this is called the scientific method. In scientific method, what we do is, there is a reality, and what you do is you develop some model to explain that reality, and that model has to be rational and logical. And in the second step, what you do is you conduct an experiment, and third step, you observe to see if that model corresponds to the observation or not. If it corresponds, then that is, the theory is correct, it is approved. If it doesn't, then it has to be modified or it has to be replaced by something better, something elegant. So that is how things go in the scientific enterprise. So would you like to add something, Mr. Kabi, in the definition of science, about how you perceive science and stuff?
Going back to science, I think our brother has explained everything, and I'm in between here, in between a philosopher and a science graduate himself, a physicist. He says, what I would like to say further about science, that I have seen two extremes regarding science, what in the world itself. One extreme is where science, where religion does not allow science at all. Means it does not allow observation at all. Whatever is written in the scriptures, even it is faulty, as I know, because I have studied comparative religion. Nearly all the major religions in the world I have studied. And I know that maybe there are some scientific mistakes in their textbooks, in their scripture. And even though science confirms that they are wrong, they will not accept it, and if they have power, they will try to overpower you and try to make your comment gone, try to retract your comment, as he has given example, Galileo Galilei. In 17th century, when Galileo Galilei, he first observed that Earth is not the center of universe, as Bible says. Afterwards, he retraced his claim and he was allowed to live, I will say. But there is one kind of extreme. There is another kind of extreme which I will say that people of science deny the religion and existence of God and say it as irrational and unprovable. Whereas in science I have found that there are a lot of theories which are unproved even though people believe in it. Not about the physics, there are something about physics even, but all total. What the approach of Islam is, it is in between. We call it, we are in the medium path, in the middle path. We say that religion says something about the spiritual world, as our senior here, he was saying that philosophy teaches not only your materialistic world, but also teaches something about the world which is a conscious being, rather than a body, bones and muscles and blood. Not only that, life in itself cannot be tested in laboratory. Only the symptoms of life can be tested in laboratory. Similarly, in the Quran, Surah number 3, ayah number 190, Allah says, don't they see that how the heavens and earth are created, and in the changing of day and night, there is the sign for the people of understanding. It says the sign for people of understanding. So, using of intellect, observing the world and observing the area around is not against religion, in fact. It may be against a man-made religion, but because we say that God is the creator of the universe, He must know what He has created. Whatever the Quran says about the scientific claim, and I said about 1,000 verses, and it goes to different field of science, it is not against any of the established sciences. What it goes against is hypothetical or something which is extrapolated, extrapolation of data. It may go against that. But what is the established science? It does not go against that. So science, in my opinion, coming back to his question that I have to shed some light on science itself, science is an observation. As Stephen Hawking also said, science is the observation of reality, not the reality itself. So it observes in the whatever the available tools it has, and it observes and claims. So that's it, I think.
Om Shanti, and thank you very much. The organization of Brahma Kumaris where I belong, the understanding of the organization, what we understood is the different. We never blame to the science, we never blame to the spirituality. And both are different, the part of the knowledge. But they have very close relationship. The later when we are in externalness, in the external world, then we just leave the spirituality, the part of the spirituality. So now we say where spirituality, where religion, and there is something in the confusion. But according to our understanding, the science is the observation of the physical matter, The science only perceives the things which can understood through our five senses. That means by looking, by smelling, by touching, by hearing. So the limitation of science belong with the five senses. So five senses are also great thing, So the material things, what we can understand through the observation of science, we say, oh, we have find, we have research, we got the reality. That's that part. But in spirituality, it always talk about the metaphysical matter, We all human beings are, now we are in this body and we are driving this body, we are talking each other, we are listening each other, because now the conscience is present on this body. So everything is going on. If within a moment, say within an instant, if we leave this body, then everything is there. Eyes are there, ears are there, mouth is there, everything will be stopped. So, this zigzag machine, the physical machine which the God has given, nature has given, is very, the complicated and very perfect. And it is for the serving of that conscious energy. So three things, the matter, the spirit, and the supreme. What Allah is saying. We say the God, the supreme, the supremely wise, that means the supreme power. These three things have eternal existence. But the world is the function of the interplay of these things. Matter we need, Science particularly gives the material things. Now science has given a lot of things to us for the comfortable life for the people. So science is also very fine. So when the science goes behind the humanity, then that will be destructive. Otherwise, science gives all kind of, the luxury, comfortable, all these equipments in every field, say the communication field, say the transportation field, in every field. It has given lot of things for the human beings, for the life of the human beings. And the spirituality particularly, the preaches about the values. What the missing thing for the human life is the values. Absence of the values, whatever people have done the progress in the materialistic world, again there will be violence, there will be quarrel. What these weaknesses are in the human life because of the absence of the spirituality. Spirituality not religion, the Hindu, Muslim, Buddhist. There is sometimes discrimination about the religion, and in the name of religion there are many kind of bloodshed. It is really nonsense. We never believe that. Religion means you have to imbibe good values in the life. We are not against the science. What science is given, we appreciate it, and what spirituality gives to the people, and we go through it. But the defect in the spirituality means the religion without, the sacrification. Later on, the religion became like a traditional, dogmas. People say we have to sacrifice the animals. We say we have to worship these things. And these fashions, these ritual things are not really the spirituality. Spirituality means we have to change our inner conscience, our thought pattern, our attitude. But if we could show those all values from our practical life, then every people in the society, either they belong to the science, they belong to the administration, they belong to the politics, and every people will, appreciate the spirituality. So I think, with along with the science, how the science is doing progress from its own field, similarly the spirituality also should have to be in applied life. They should have to show it from their practical life. At that point, the science and spirituality become complementary and supplementary to each other. And just, the great scientist, the Einstein has also mentioned that the religion without science is blind, and the science without religion is lame. So if one is the lame always, it cannot be complete. It cannot do the complete function. Similarly, if religion always blindly go ahead, then it cannot also complete the human desire. So both should compromise each other. At that point, the world become very better and peaceful, prosperous, beautiful and bountiful. I mean that. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Ayier. So most of the arguments and ideas that Mr. Ayier has put, I have to agree to those. There is no denying that spirituality is important to us. But one thing that particularly struck me is like spirituality is a domain that perfectly falls in the field of science. So why does it have to be separate? Psychology, neuroscience, psychoanalysis, all of these topics, they include a scientific study of spirituality, and we can embed with the spirituality, and along with that we can prosper in science. So that is what I object first and foremost. Spirituality is completely scientific domain, that is my understanding, and we will come to that if there is some disagreement. And regarding what Mr. Kabi has said, when I have to give you some figure, then I have to say that I agree to about 80% to what he has said. Regarding 20%, what he has stressed is religion is concentrating about life, like the creation and stuff like that. But I think philosophy is doing better than religions. At least it is not biased. And when it comes to the topic of religion, I feel that there are many different versions of religions. So which one should we agree? And that is the fundamental limitations of religion, I would say. So and there is one thing, and at one moment he stressed that man-made religion. So every religion is man-made. So there is nothing like like religion that has been existing since the creation of people invented religions to ease our culture, our society. So every religion is man-made. So my point is, my observation is, we should not be taking religion that seriously when we have a better understanding of the world at our hand. So I would like to hand this microphone to Dr. Mishra, and I am longing to hear about his views about the interplay of religion and science, and about which one is better than the other in defining the reality in the world.
First of all, I have to say, define what is reality. I just remember Hegel, a very German philosopher, he used to say, the real is rational and rational is real. Rational is real. Rational means which can be explained on the basis of reasoning, can be on the basis of logic and objectivity. And if it cannot be explained logically or reasonably, then it is not. So when you talk about reality, it is, I think, it was exactly reality can be I think a sort of philosophy from two angles. I don't, because that may be boring for you. Even in nutshell I can say, realism, there are two one is epistemological, that is related to knowledge, and another is ontological, of the object. So reality can be related to your experience or our knowledge also, where knowledge is, it can be a real relation between object and subject can be real, independent, and one is that objects are real. Just for the mind is real because we are seeing experiencing. So the word reality is very difficult to define. But when we say the kind of, we must use our rationality. That's why the rational, as a rational being, what I want to say is reality can be explained scientifically, philosophically, but religion has its own different domain. It does not, I think, of course, in every religion, there is definition, there is provision, there is thinking about the world, about life. But to tell you, to be logical, to be scientific, it has to be experimented, it has to be observed, and has to be proved with the evidences. So what I want to say is, whereas science provides reality with evidence, philosophy provides it with reasoning, and religion provides it with some concept, with a simile, with some big, not very private concept. So these are the very, they are three kinds of presentation. Reality can be apprehended from these three separate angles.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me say that I just joined now, and I will be holding the moderator here right now. So I would like to put the same question again to every one of you, but I would like to ask that how will you define science in a single sentence, just one sentence? How will you define? I would like to first ask Abdul Kabi, sir, please.
I think,
single sentence.
I have already told science is observation of reality, not the reality itself.
Yeah, thank you.
Hawkins said.
Yeah.
So
So
that is a religion, right?
I will say about that.
So don't worry. So Professor Mishra, sir, in one sentence, please.
Science is a systematic knowledge of anything.
Systematic knowledge of anything. Ram, sir, or what you will put in science in one sentence? What is science?
Okay, science is the result of the perceiving through the five senses.
Five senses. Okay. So Raju, what in your view, in one sentence, you can define the science?
Rational description of nature.
Rational description of nature and what do you say? Reality. So this is one of the very difficult question in science and technology. What is science? Everyone have their own answer. Yeah, we have one disagreement. Can someone put the mic to them? Because can you take the mic? Please introduce yourself.
My name is Prof. I'm a computer engineer, and what I want to ask is actually if there is really a spirit in us, and after we die, if it really exists, many people think that it exists after we die, and after our death it exists. And what I want to ask is when we live, the energy come from when we eat, energy come from that. But after death, how do that spirit get the energy?
So how the spirit survives? That's the question. Okay, so whom do you want to know the answer from first? So you want? Okay, sir. So Ram, sir.
Okay, please.
So let's make it
Very good.
nice. Yeah.
Okay, when we die, we leave this body, then how the spirit get energy? Your question is like that? No? Okay. You know the spirit itself energy. It's a conscious energy. That means which can think, which can understand, which can analyze. That every power belongs with the spirit. For example, now the spirit is within us. So we are thinking, we are seeing, we are doing everything. Within an instant, if that goes, the light has gone, the game is finished there. The light has gone, game is finished. The scientific, the evidence about the existence of the self, the existence of the spirit is now there are three things. The science has got across. One is the rebirth events. Many scientists have done lot of research on this field. Many, the small child, what they had find there, they are talking about the previous one, whether it is true or not. And they go through and they just study all the field. But they find that everything was true. Which was the energy which has contained those are memory after leaving the body? One thing is hypnotic regression. There is another thing which is hypnotic regression means now we can't say about our real, the previous part. But when that hypnotic regression applies on your life, then you go through your previous memory and now you are about I think 30 years old or 45 years old. You can't know about your 2 years old what you've done in your life. But when you go through that process of the the hypnotic regression, then you can understand what you did in 2 years old time. And accordingly, they go back and your previous birth will be emerged. Then we started to tell about the previous birth. I was there, and you just started to speak about. So these three things are deeply studied by the scientific field, and they found that there is energy which is a part of the physical body, which does have its existence after leaving this body, and that's now the spirit in the spiritual terminology. That's called soul. That's called the conscious energy. So we have to go deep study, then you will be content. Law of conservation is energy contained by universal constant, isn't it? We can't create, we can't destroy energy. Right? Likewise, the available energy constantly being the degradation. But there is another entropy, then at the moment when it goes degradation, the absolute degradation, that you will get again the recondition again. It will get its own, its original state. That's the, so the energy once go degrade, but the time comes, there's something, the next energy will be help it, and again they will get its original state. That's the law of second,
Thank you for it.
So you got answer, you want some answers from others also? Yeah. Raju, can you incite a few words? How do spirit get energy after the death?
Okay, first of all, I have a lot to disagree with that because I do not believe in the life after death. For me, death is the absolute thing. So, and I'm going to just provide the reasons why we tend to believe in life after death, why we are optimistic in life after death, heaven and hell and stuff like that. So the reason is that we are conscious creatures, and since we are conscious, we try to assign meaning and value to each of our endeavors. Since the world is not going so well for us, there is always some expectation out of ourselves that something might be better after the death. So when people are told that don't worry, so heaven is waiting for you after your death, then they become optimistic about their life, and that is good for them. So psychologically speaking, heaven and hell is a good concept for people, but I do not believe in that because the law of entropy that he has put here, the second law of thermodynamics, the entropy goes increasing, but I do not see any connection between how that entropy, after that such a disordered state, comes back again to the equilibrium state where everything is just perfect and stuff like that. So whenever you are, it's my request that whenever you are just plugging in some science, please try to give some citations. For example, you just gave an example of scientific research that backed the existence of spirit. So could you please give me citation on that? Who did that? Where? Because a lot of in the media, I come to hear a lot of news where people say NASA scientists did this, did that. I went to NASA also, and I know that in science there is nothing like, if someone is a genuine scientist, then they never do research like that because that doesn't fall into the domain of the science. So it's my request that whenever you are just giving some plugging in scientific things, please try to give citations so that I can check it, and maybe that will just educate myself, isn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah, that is really great insight, and your views of not believing. So I would like to pass this mic to Abdul Kabi. So what is his views on spirit? How do they gain energy after the death?
I think whatever is
relating with science, if you can relate it.
Allah said in the Quran that you are talking about ruh, the spirit, you have no knowledge of it. So I would not like to elaborate upon what it says, but I would say, I think you are a computer engineer, you said. You can say spirit is like a CPU with battery. So it goes on, it has its own energy. Maybe he does not agree with that. And he does not agree with a lot of things, like he thinks that religiousness, and he talked about since the world is not going so well, that's why the world needs something like a spirit, life after death, and the concept like this, which is something like a mythological story. Second thing, he pointed out that whenever we claim something, we have to claim through references, not say, and he's right. What Islam says, what Quran says, that people are born in fitra, natural religion. They are born with the belief that God exists and there is a life after death. Islam says. And whenever a boy is, he may be born in any family, from there he can pick other ideas. If he is born in a Hindu family, he becomes a Hindu. If he is born in a Christian family, he becomes a Christian. But that is what society gives afterwards. But he is born in a natural state of believing in God.
To believe in something is different from knowing something. We are here, we are all scientists here, the science background. We believe in something else. I believe in God, I may not believe. Belief is subjective, whereas knowledge is objective and universal. All scientific knowledge for the sake of faith. So faith and belief, they are different things you can have. Of course, I don't want to go in details. But what I want to say is, knowledge is universal. If one or two people might have remembered his lifetime, but what about the millions of people who don't? So understand, of course, again I don't want to go into controversy, but our disease and things like that, or you can develop some capacity to know. But objectively, general human beings, they don't remember anything. So knowledge must be universal and necessity, as Descartes had defined. I agree with him that knowledge must be universal. It must be this is necessary, and by having faith, having to believe, it has different aspects, different layers. Of course, I also have respect for that.
Thank you very much, sir. Moving forward, I would like to talk about morality.
We will be coming to the topic of morality, but before that, I would like to just bring one issue that is very instrumental in understanding the whole discussion that we are having here. And Mr. Kabi and Mr. Ram, they asserted that the version of the reality that they are acquainted with is ready to take science. For most of the part, they agree with science, right? But regarding the understanding and observation and speed and stuff, the version of the reality that they are affiliated with, so is better. So now I want to put one question. So what would you do at the point of contradiction? Which one do you choose? An objective science or a subjective understanding of your personal reality? And I will also give you some examples and you to base your understanding. Yeah. So for example, how do you take homosexuality?
It comes in morality, I think.
Yeah, we can continue the conversation from there yourself. But I would like to just know your view, because homosexuality is not affecting natural in science. We understand that there is something mutation, something stuff going on, yeah, in the gene pool. So in science that is not a sin. But many of the religions, they take homosexuality as a sin. And there was a time when homosexual people were like killed, slain. So what is the view on that? So I want to put that as a point of contradiction. And how do you want to access science? Like, do you agree with science or do you insist on being?
But I mean, I never disagree with the science. Science is a part of the reality on the materialistic world. I am telling it now and again. But I mean, there is the existence of the spirit and consciousness, I mean. So we have to try to understand that consciousness. And to understand that consciousness, we have to go some, the churning of the knowledge. That knowledge means not only the physical level, but it's in the conscious level, the spiritual level. So through that, the churning of knowledge, then we can understanding the existence of the self, existence of the God, what the Prof is telling about. So, sometimes we reject the things, the science and the spirituality and the religion is something which cannot, the analysis about the reality, not objectivity, so that people say that it is not our field to study. But really, if we go through that branch with deeply, with analytically, then we will come in that conclusion about the existence of reality of the self and the supreme, then we'll enjoy it. And there will not be any conflict between science and spirituality, that's fine. The spirituality will work about the enhancing the morality, enhancing the values, and science will give the many things to us for our daily life, for our comfort and luxury and everything, what we are using today. So, contradiction is, in my point, I think there is no contradiction, but different part of the study, not different branch of the study, different sector of the study.
Different approach, yeah.
Again, you are right at that point.
Different approach.
So it's a different approach. The spiritual approach is different, the scientific approach is different. But only people have made that is contradiction, but I think it's not contradiction.
Yeah. Please pass to Mr. Kabi.
As I said, it is an issue of morality, whether the ethics and what is ethical and what is unethical, and should it be decided by science only, or the religion has to say something here, and people would accept it or not. And it is a classical argument of Richard Dawkins and other atheists like that. So I will say Islam would not allow homosexuality, and all of the revealed religions, which we call revealed religions, like Abrahamic faith, Judaism, Christianity, even Hinduism, as far as I know and I have studied, it does not allow homosexuality, because it thinks that male and female are made for each other, not in the way that the male and female are made for each other. And the whole concept of sexuality is in fact for reproduction, they would say. It involves pleasure because animal, if you see a dog, they will not think that how fashionable is my beach and how where in the hotel I will take the date to date her. He will just follow her, and she will follow her when the season comes. When we say Khatiwada. So when the season comes, so automatically the hormones are secreted and they start doing the acts of sexuality, and they involve, they reproduce. Humans are a little bit complex, that's why they have to do everything something advanced. They do the same thing but in an advanced way. Means they eat the same food but they cook it, they have different dishes to eat it, and they do the same thing as the animals do, but they do it in a different way. Means they will arrange a suit in a hotel, or they will go to honeymoon to do that. That's different thing. If you compare the people who have died through AIDS, the victim of AIDS are more. And when the AIDS was shown to who was the first victim of AIDS? So you will find that, I think maybe a year or two I have been mistaking, but in 2073 in California, the AIDS was first observed in homosexuals. Thereafter, it was spread to heterosexuals. A person may argue, okay, but this is a totally normal thing, as most of the atheists do. Okay, this is a totally normal thing because in nature, many animals, I think Professor Lawrence Krauss, who I think he's heard of him, that's why he's shooting with it. That's good for me. Professor Lawrence Krauss, he said that it is absolutely normal because in 10% of animal kingdom, animals are found to observe homosexuality. So I would counter it that animals are also found to copulate with their own mother. So if we allow it that, now saying that it's perfectly scientific and we have to give birth through our mother, I think though, I will not allow it, maybe other atheists will do it. Similarly, it is a moral perspective. Another is scientific perspective, that people say that the homosexuality is in fact genetic. And its tendencies are found inside our gene, and since a person cannot change his genes, his DNA, that's why he is not bad person, means we should not say him bad. I will like to enlighten my brothers who are present here and the senior members here, that the tendency for suicide and tendency for murder is also genetic. So now will we make murdering and suiciding allowed in the society? That's it.
Thank you very much. We'd like to know something from Professor Mishra. Some short.
I can brief, but as a center of moral philosophy, because my PhD thesis are on ethical elements in the Mahabharata, and my research was on ethics. I don't want to go what is morality, how to judge which is moral and which is non-moral or immoral. There are there are different I think theories which determines what is good and what is bad, what is right, what is wrong. But I don't want to go in detail. There are so many systems, hedonistic, intrinsic, idealistic, rationalistic. But the only thing what I want to say here, that nature, what is natural is moral. Is it natural? That's what means moral. The teacher, aspirant should respect teacher. Natural. Children should respect parents. It's natural. So what I want to say is that homosexuality is it natural? So that is the if it is natural, it is not moral. That's my conclusion. I was going to write this on that because you have a scientific background, you believe in theory of evolution. In the beginning there was a unicellular. you need, so it was not it was not multicellular amoeba. Then how sick the genders have evolved? Why? He says, Darwin says they are put you that it is for the increasing enlargement of the race and for the struggle for existence. That is why people, the male and female, they want their existence for struggle for existence. What I want to say in brief, that homosexuality is it urge of human being that he has inherited from sex, I mean from animals or even from say vegetation. But it is not natural because nature has meant, why did nature make male and female? There must be some reason, and that reason is the preservation of existence, preservation of race. So what I want to conclude that if it is natural, then it is moral. If it is unnatural, it cannot be moral. And it is not natural because nature has not has involved the gender differentiation between male and female because that is natural. So I think it is not moral.
As you are from very reputed spiritual university, so in our Hindu epics, there is even Ardhanareshwar. It is to believe scientifically Ardhanareshwar is a transgender. Of course, it is like a combination of male and female. Even in Mahabharata, there was a transgender whom, yes, so because of him, Bhisma Pitama was died because he will not
Yes, brahmacharya, absorb the brahmacharya.
absorb the brahmacharya.
Yeah.
So is that also like because society is not expecting them? So how do morality works there? So that is a natural, yeah. That thing is natural.
It's a very great question, the great issue also.
I will claim for it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not agreeing with the homosexuality, I think it's a very, what we say, the degradation of the human civilization, I think so. But you are agree with me or not? It's the most degradation of people, what people are doing now. Wisdom is there, a very conscious person, how they are going to this practice of the homosexuality. It's really in the field of the morality, it is totally avoided, it will not be accepted. Okay, one thing about the morality, if you go through our great epics, in the Hindu religion, the Sanatana religion, there is a great, the respect of the brahmacharya. There is called in the brahmacharyam param tapam, brahmacharyam param balam. In the human life, it's a great discipline. Means we can control our sensual organs.
In the Quran that wala yukullahu nafsan illa usaha. Allah burdens not the soul more than it has its capacity. So when a person is born transgender means I would, if someone wants to know, means they have some hormone secreted. That's why instead of the secondary, primary and secondary sexual organs, what we are called, means external features and internal features. So they will have externally maybe both sexual organs, or one is more prominent and another is less prominent. So what to do about that? As you have said that in Islamic countries they are not, they are looked down upon. I do not agree because in Islamic law, as I have studied Islamic law in detail, in Sharia law there is a special place for them. They are not devoid of the property which they should get from their parents. They are looked with respect.
We'll go for the audience after the couple of questions. So the question is the origin of the universe. So everybody define the origin of universe, different religion define, atheists define in a different way, science define in a different way, so philosophy define in a different way, and still we are hearing a lot of different answers like what is science from every person. So please relate something, please cite something according to you, what is the form, how the universe is formed, not only how, as Professor Mishra said, why the universe have been formed, why? Can this be answered?
If it's a philosophy, it must be based on some argument. What I say, it must be based. I don't have any argument regarding the origin of the universe. And we have taken the advantage of scientific proofs, what happened to the Big Bang theory, whatever it is. But still, to me, the question is why Big Bang took place? Why did it take place? That is a question to be answered. I think science will reply after some time. But I think to me, I can't offer anything imaginative.
Thank you. So, Abdul Kabi or Raju, you want to answer first? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Ram sir.
But in my understanding, what we have understood and read and the thing, learned something. The universe is eternal. It is not the Big Bang theory like this, how the universe is formed. But I think what the Gita says, it was, it is, it will be. So this kind of phenomenon is known as eternal. So the sun was there, moon was there, the earth was there. How we can define that such and such years before the earth is created and everything. These all are the assumption, I think. So the eternal things, the sun was there, the people were there, the earth was there, every stars were there, and now they will be. But in the time, there's something the changes in between. Now some century before people are so moral, so people are the quiet and calm. But now it is degraded. In another time, in the term of morality. So again it will be changed. The time will come again, as the Veda says, Om Surya Chandra Mashavdhata Yatha Purva Akalpayat, means, and Gita also says, Yada Yada Dharmasya Glani Bhavati Bharata Abhithanam Adharmasya Tadatmana Srijayam Paripraya Sadhanam Vinashaya Dushtakritam Dharma Sansthapanarthaya Sambhavani Yogi, means there is an absolute decline in the human, the nature, human tendencies, likewise in the disorder in the nature. At that point, that supreme energy intervene on these all things, and it makes again its original form. So automatically after some time, day and night, in 24 hours, again it will repeat and repeat. Likewise the season will repeat. Likewise, the old history and geography also will be repeated in time. So it is eternal. If you go through understanding this thing now, then we will be in conclusion. Otherwise, there will be always question and question and question, and then never will be process. Okay.
Thank you very much. So, Raju, you would like to answer?
Yeah, but I just want to talk about this morality thing for like only 30 seconds. This will only come in 30 seconds. So, first and foremost, when I said homosexuality, I mean that transgender as well. So, you guys were talking as if homosexuality is something that one is willing to do, right? It is some defect in the gene pool, which is beyond the ability of an individual. So, you need to consider that. So, when you said homosexuality, you just thought of like two boys or two girls falling for each other, right? But that is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a serious biological condition. And maybe you can think about it. And regarding the topic of morality, what I want to say is morality is like thought is in domain of religion. So why does it have to be religious in origin? So I want to say that morality is not something that is religious in nature. It is independent of the religion itself. And as an example, I want to give the prospect of objective morality that some scientists like neuroscientists like Sam Harris are just proposing, and they are proposing the paradigm of objective morality. What they are saying is, through science we can have the morality that can drive our society for the better. And how would that be? The definition goes like this. So if any action is leading to the well-being of a conscious creature, then that is a good action. So if any action is leading to suffering of a conscious creature, that is a bad action. So by that way we can differentiate between our good and bad actions and judge and be rational and change with time and adapt so that we can be the best person of the humanity. So that is what the science is proposing. And regarding the questions of why is the universe created, first of all, I do not believe that the universe was created for a purpose. As I mentioned earlier, we are human beings. We have a very weird tendency to assign some value and meaning in our endeavors. So we expect a lot. So that is the problem. When the genius Richard Dawkins was asked the same question, he said that why is not the right question to ask. Just because you can frame why in a certain grammatical structure and ask a certain question doesn't mean that the question is a valid one. So, and for the example, he gave the example like, what is the color of jealousy? Yeah, this is a perfect grammatical question, but it doesn't mean anything because jealousy doesn't have any color. So expecting an answer from why the universe created is exactly like expecting the color of jealousy, right? So science can explain how the universe is created, and there is a perfectly rational explanation of that. And as a student of science, I do not say that I believe in Big Bang theory. I still take that with some pinch of salt. I try to be rational, because if some other things come in the way of scientific research, I'm willing to change my opinion. Are you guys willing to change yours? That is the question.
Thank you very much. So, why question is not for all, but the people who believe, like in Hindu religion, it is believed that God created the world. In Islam also it's believed that Allah created the world. So why He created the world was question for them. I also like to ask two of our person, one representing Islam, also one from representing, it is neutral but also mainly focused on Hinduism. So why the God or Allah created the world? Can you answer that?
Okay, God has created this world for good purpose, The humans should be, the friendly, live each other. The wish of the God is be always the people should be peaceful, people should be lawful, people should be prosperous. They should have the brotherly, the relations with each other, and there should be sustainable development. It means that in the name of development, if we are fighting each other, if we are, corrupting each other, that is not mean of the real development. So the God's wish is for the human beings should be that all human beings should be like a deity means, and they should have a what I mean that they always should be happy in their life. They always should be the cooperate each other. Such kind of values, if the people could imbibe in their life, then every things every phenomenon of the world, in the physical level, in the social level, in the our behavior level, in every level we will be good, and there will be the harmony in the society, harmony in our life, harmony in our country, and harmony in whole over the globe. And what the concept of the God is that one God, one global family means we all are the children of one God. Means Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Means God has created this world for that. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashitu bhagavena. By this purpose, God has created this world. But what we people have done, just we think about it. Okay, we are from the science, we are from the the spiritual level, from the religion. But what we are doing? What God's wish? Why God has created this world? What we are doing that? If we are doing these things, sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashitu bhagavena. So such kind of the thinking pattern, high level consciousness, if we could develop such kind of consciousness, such kind of values in our life, then the world will be very good and better. In vice versa, that can be paradise, that can be the Allah, garden of Allah, very cooperative, and that will be the purpose of God, why God has created this world.
Thank you very much. We would like to know some short notes from.
Am I ready to comment about the previous comments?
Yeah, sure. But can we make it
I
short?
guess whatever the objection has been raised by our dear brother here, I think you have, Mr. Deo has rightfully summarized that in fact what is natural we do not have any problem. That said, Allah does not burden a soul more than its capacity. But what is not natural, as you have summarized, there is no reproduction over there, then I think there we have a problem. So for transgenders there is no problem, for homosexuals, yeah, there is a problem. When we are talking, putting in why, why is it necessary to put why, because why is the word which exists in the grammar, is it necessary to put why in everything? As Richard Dawkins said that we should not put why in everything. Why is the basis of the foundation of science. You cannot have science without why. So that's why we ask why. Yeah, maybe we cannot answer every why, because sometimes the question may be illogical, like a logical fallacy. So that's why we cannot put why in everything and we cannot explain everything. But yeah, but we can. So logical fallacies will be there. Where the second question, am I ready to change my opinion? I say that Islam is in fact a very fast-forward religion. The whole Sharia, the whole Islamic law is dependent on, is based on two things. There are few fixed things which cannot be changed over time, because they are dependent, they are based on the nature of person, the nature itself of the surrounding and nature of a person, the characteristics which does not change. But there are some things where the Islam and Quran is open, means we are open to opinions. For example, when tobacco was first introduced in 17th century, it was called disliked. It was called disliked because we only knew that when you smoke tobacco, your mouth will smell. But now in this 21st century, it has been proven scientifically that 90% of the cancer of mouth is due to the result of tobacco. Now Islam has changed its opinion and said that tobacco is haram, it is prohibited because it is like doing suicide. Means it is like drinking poison, a small portion of poison every day. So it is like that. So yeah, I am ready to change my opinion. Now coming back to the question of the creation of universe and about the Big Bang theory. So heaven and earth were joined together, and I have cleft them asunder. Means I have separated them. So here Islam agrees, Quran totally agrees with the Big Bang theory because we have found that universe is expanding, and in physics it is called Doppler's effect or the redshift effect. I think who has learned physics they properly know, and that's why it is there. Every organism which is here, it is serving a purpose. For example, the ecosystem when we are talking about, every organism in the ecosystem, from the plants to the animals and birds to the non-living things, even the soil and the water, they are serving some purpose. Some people say that it is irrational to think that there God exists because rationality does not support God, existence of God. But I will say the founding father of rationality, I will quote Plato and Aristotle. Plato said that design indicates designer. Whenever you see a design, that means there is a designer. For example, you see there is a banner here, and I say, if you ask Mr. Deo that how this banner, from where did you print this banner? And he answered, oh no, I didn't print it from somewhere. The material came floating in the sky, and all of them joined together. And then paint flying from the sky, and it is strapped on that, and the letters were written automatically, and that's why the banner was produced. You will think he is joking with you, he is kidding with you. Because it is designed, and that means it must have a designer. Whenever you see a book, that means it is written by someone. Whenever you see painting, that means it is painted by someone. There must be a painter. You cannot get, for example, a hurricane came and Boeing 747 was ready. No. So design must indicate designer. That's why there must be, if this universe is designed, it is well organized. They may argue that it is not perfect. That is different argument. But it is well designed. Even our cellular level, we are designed. Even a single cell is designed. That's why there must be designer. What kind of that designer be? Aristotle gives the example of domino effect. Domino effect means, for example, you have placed books like this, Mr. Razu's book is here, I have here, and you place many books here. And suddenly, if you try to, this book is standing, and if you push one book, it falls. But at the line, all the books fall. This is called dominoes effect. So when we say that where we came from our mother and father. Where they came from their mother and father. Where they came from their mother and father.
Is there any God? And if there is any God, who is the God? If there is only one God, who is that one God? So 3 tag questions.
I think I have to write it.
So we people are talking about God, in this, there is the existence of God. If there is no God, then we are talking about it. Yeah?
Who is the God? The answer didn't come.
If
there is only one God, who is the God? I will read it.
I read it.
Okay. So it means God is there, right? Otherwise, in this scientific age, we are talking about God. Why we are talking about God? If it does not have existence, then why are we talking about God? Yeah? Okay. So I will talk in young events. In Russia, there was a scientist, and many people believe on the scientist, and they thought that the scientist will prove that there is no God. Then the delegation of people went to the scientist, and then they talk, please you prove that there is no God, then people will be happy. Then the scientist said, no any proven, it cannot be proved in your laboratory. God and spirit cannot prove on a laboratory. Then the scientist given good logic, With the logically he said there is no existence of God. The people, the delegation are content. But when the people go out from the door, then the scientists say, thank you God, today I could prove that you have no existence. Then the delegation will come back and they say that, so just you told that there is no God, then why are you thanking the God? So this means that there is in the inner heart, their belief means there is the existence of God, so the inner conscience accepts it. Okay? So God has existence. First thing is clear. Whether you believe it or convinced or not. Okay. Then, who is the only one God? Is the? Yeah?
If there is only one God, who is the God?
Okay. Who is the God? Last question. No? Combine.
Is there only one God? So, according to you,
the major religion of the world has accepted the same thing. The God is that who is accepted by all religion. It's a universal acceptance. In the Hindu culture, according to Gita, according to Veda, according to Upanishad, the God is not any physical being, it's incorporeal. Amurta. It means it is a divine light. It is, the Allah is just like a noor, means light. So, in our own, religion, there, in the Gita said, it's a supremely light, it's a light. God is light. So, in our Hindu religion, the temple of Shiva, there is a one type Shivlinga. Means there is no any eye, nose and everything. It means God is incorporeal, without any physical appearance. Means it's not figurate. It's just like a light. So in every religion, even the Muslim also says Allah is a nur. In our Hindu religion say God is the light, God is the supreme light. And like that the Christian say also God is light, I am a son of a God. So in every religion, the concept of God is a light. It is not a physical figurate. It is a very divine light. So first of all, we have to think about God is not any deity, is not a prophet, is not a religious father, but is beyond to the religious father, beyond to the deity, beyond to the all the stage and center. It's a light.
Philosophy, Shankaracharya. What is the reality? God is not reality. He says it is the Brahma. Brahma means pure consciousness, pure existence, and pure bliss. Pure consciousness. And for sale. But this is the reality approach. But in practical sense of view, that is something. A currency note is reality. It is a piece of paper. But when you type, it becomes 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 100 rupees. What Shankaracharya says, God is just when he was talking in practical sense, then there is God who creates you. But ultimately, there is no God, it is Brahma. So that's what philosophy also, they have tried to explain the concept. We are not talking about the God is the concept, and philosophy can say, but God is, I will tell you, if you believe it, it is alright. But you don't believe it, you won't get knowledge of it.
But can we have some silence in the audience, please? Thank you very
You
much.
don't have knowledge of God.
Yeah, please, Raju, your views, please. Raju, let's make short description.
So first of all, I would like to comment on the design or hypothesis followed by Mr. Kabi. First of all, I would disagree with the comparison that he made. He compared a linear board or banner with the universe. So that is not a valid comparison. So you should come up with a different comparison, better one. You cannot compare a universe with a banner. Banner is a designer, of course, there is no denying that. But if you are talking about the universe, then you should not claim to know so much, and so you should not be telling that so confidently, because there are scientists who are working really hard with telescope and stuff, and still they are not that confident to speak with such high degree of confidence. But that is the one major problem with the reason. And another problem with the reason is one book we have had. So the reason, the religious book, they are not amendable. That is one of the major problems of the religion. So what they believe is we have already have some regulation of the world, so we don't need any further knowledge. So all the LSC research, SON, NASA, everything, whatever the scientists and all the dedicated people are doing in dedicated fields, that is just a waste of time because they already have it, right? So that is one problem with religion. Another problem is he just said, Mr. Ram, he said that if the God is not here in the world, why are we talking about it? A conversation like this would not be taking place if the God would not be here. But the reason is that the concept of the God is related to the concept of religion, and we have religion, and there is a lot of religious stuff going on in our community, in our society. That's why we are talking about this God, so that we can have a more constructive understanding of the concept of God and other different enterprise that aims to just make an explanation, but more rational. Finally, I want to just I heard a lot of chanting going on, religious chanting, but there is no such scientific chanting. So I would like to end my note with some scientific chanting. So is God, this is a Utopian quote, is God willing to prevent evil, but not able, then he is not omnipotent. Right? I am going to say it again. Is God willing to prevent evil, but not able, then he is not omnipotent. Is he able, but not willing, then he is malevolent. Right? Is he both able and willing, then whence comes evil? If he is neither able nor willing, then why call him God?
Question: why does God create the world? I can answer in a very 2 minutes time. It can be answered philosophically and theologically. God, logically speaking, it is a presumption. We have some arguments, philosophers have cosmological, teleological, ontological arguments to prove that there is an entity called God. That's a presumption. Because when theologically we talk that God has created the universe or the world, then the first question logically is, why did he create? Creation means there is some limitation. When you say God is complete, God is perfect, he is supposed to be devoid of any imperfection. So logically, when talk about God created, then God cannot, if the world is created by God, then God is not perfect. This logical cannot equate, this is simple logic you can say. I am here because I believe something, come here to meet with people. So there is some limitation. Otherwise I cannot come. So the moment some created creation by someone, by some any agency requires his limitation, and it becomes the concept of God that is perfect, omniscient, omnipresent, and there are so many things. This is only our extension of our knowledge, our imagination, I should say. Because we are limited knowledge. Oh, God is not omniscient. We are limited presence in himself. These are all the extension of even I don't want to forget that we have to put forward several philosophers like that, then in the culture like that. But the only thing I want to conclude, that the moment you accept it that God has created the world, you are contradicting yourself that God is perfect. That's all.
Thank you very much. So here,
May I come in for a minute?
sir, we don't have time, so we can discuss. Sorry, I'm very sorry. Yeah, in the questions we can. So not now. The one question is left for discussion. So we think that for the question why. So if somebody cannot answer the question why, that it's not science what I believe. Because if I will ask the participant why you are here, they will say OYSS. If I will say how you are here, they say I came from taxi, I came from bus. That's the exact answer.
Alanu Ramsari. I have my question to Mr. Kabi. Straightforward question. As I came to know from different personalities, sometimes we find that when we do some inventions or research or discoveries, it is said that these things are already presented or objected in our holy book Quran. Then I mean to say that after invention, why we concerned that these things are already present in that Quran? Why not? Before that invention, we are able to understand those things in Quran, and why not only understanding the philosophy of Quran, we are able to detect all those questions or research now. And another question is that my aim is to be a cosmologist, it means space science, and I am revealing my own theory regarding cosmology, origin of universe. And in that model, I have something there that is against the religious talks, and against that goes against the theory of God. Then is that, am I making a sin? I want this answer.
Okay.
That is.
So sir, is the similar question is with any other person? So we can just reduce the questions.
Ask me. Yes.
Any similar question with him? No? Different? Okay, sir, please.
I think I have a lot of voice. I was a teacher before, that's why I do not need the mic. Thank you. I was looking forward for this question actually. As you have said that when the discovery is made, we are not looking when the people who are commenting about that. There are two factors. Number first, Quran is a book which is guided, which is revealed by Allah, and either he does not believe it, I can prove it. Second question, means it is actually related to the forgotten history of Islamic culture. When from 6th century to 10th century, when the Europe's age was called the Dark Ages, it was the golden age for Islam. And there were many discoveries made by Islam. Now, why when something comes up, then we say that, okay, Muslims say it is in the Quran and it is something, why they did not present it before? Because we have forgotten. First thing. Second thing, just imagine Quran was revealed 1400 years ago to a place which was Arab and illiterate. They do not have any scientific instruments which we need now and which we have now to discover those things, and they have explained about the Big Bang. Do you believe that that those persons could have understood the Big Bang? No. Only the scientists which came afterward, they read Quran and they explain these things. So that's why, if you want, I have a list of those all the Muslim scientists. You can take a photocopy, or you can take this copy. I will print it.
Thank you very much, sir. So another question, please make it short also, because we already exceed 2.5 hours for this session.
Which one?
Standing up.
From there, he raised the first, the spectacles.
Yeah, who is more powerful, God or science?
Whom you are asking this question?
We have said that there is existence of God.
There is an existence of God. So I would like to put this question to
sir.
Ram sir. You?
Who is more powerful, God or science?
You believe there is an existence of God. Which one is better? Just one line answer?
Only in one
both are
sentence.
better, I mean. Both are better. The science is better in its own field, and God is better to preaching the morality and values and virtues in the human life. That is also better. The combination of science and the spirituality makes a better world. So I mean that I am not saying that science is bad and the God is bad, no. But one thing I would like to say that the scientist is also the child of God, isn't it? All the human beings are the children of one God, means the scientist also is a child of a God, children of a God, scientists also. So I think both are better, both are powerful. God is powerful in the the spirituality in this field, and scientists are powerful in their what they are inventing new things day by day, and they are also powerful. Okay, I appreciate both. In the previous, I think the Veda is said, "Yatra naristu pujyate ramante tatra devata." जहाँ नारियों को पूजा हुन्छ, मान हुन्छ, सम्मान हुन्छ, त्यही देवता रमण गर्छन्. So the later in our Hindu society there are the sannyasis, sadhus, and the people have different opinions.